thought from George, because it's an interesting, you could tell Moody, as though he has, as George pointed out, has really gained the trust of Steve Kerr. Smith Jr. can't get that to fall. But you got to remember, like Kuminga and Moody, they come to Golden State and a team that's competing for a championship. It's hard for young players to get that opportunity sometimes when a team is
responsibility of IQ that you have to learn, probably more than even your physical ability when you're a young player. Can you prove that you can play at an elite level, compete, and you're competing against the best players in the league on your own team? That can be difficult at times.
How did you overcome being so emotionally immature at that time?
You know what? That was.
I mean, that's.
Oh, we got Don Rickles over here cracking jokes.
Don Rickles, that's a comedian from my
That's
era.
a good pull on your part, Don Rickles. That's a good reference right there.
Spencer, one of the greatest lacrosse players in college history, he's made an impact here in the NBA. He's only 6'2", played his college basketball at Northwestern. The reason he wears 61 because when he played lacrosse he wore number 7, and 6 + 1 = 7. That's how you figure that.
That's your math lesson for the night.
No, that's how he explained. That's how he explained it. But he makes an impact out there. You got guys like Spencer and Gary Payton that just play so hard.
And you know, Mike, you just count them up. Look at the roster. They've got 12 guys on this roster that absolutely have a reasonable right to expect to play. And that's before you get to Trace Jackson Davis and Spencer and Santos. Like, it's before you get to those guys. You've got 12 guys listed that all really have a reasonable expectation to get minutes.
Depth is great, but depth can be a dilemma for a coach.
Well, yeah, they played deep to start last year. They played.
Christian Coloco has come into the game for the Lakers. Smith gets off the right-handed shot. Santos battling. Coloco knocks it loose. Nate Williams right there had it blocked. Dives on it. Jackson Davis, great hustle play. Good hustle from everybody in that sequence. Santos thought about a 3. Good ball movement. Wide open three-pointer won't go for Rowe. And Smith comes the other way. Nate Williams lets it fly and gets the bounce.
We talked about the Warriors' depth a year ago. I think the depth was great in theory at the start of the year. I think the quality of depth of this team is significantly better because you add Al Horford to the mix. You're going to get DeAnthony Melton back, who barely played a year ago before he went down with the ACL. Seth Curry now in the mix. I think the quality of the guys he can go to better this year for Steve Kerr. He seemed excited about it.
Melton, who tore his ACL last year, still working his way back, but he will have a big traveling violation call on Santos. And then re-signed him again this summer. R.J. Davis. That's Will Richard fighting through a screen, forcing that turnover.
Not auditioning for the team you're playing for. You're auditioning for teams that are looking for players to fill out their roster. If someone gets hurt, you can make an impact on a GM or a president in a preseason game.
Good defense there from Coloco. Pokes that one away. Smith. Watson fires and connects. And a timeout call by Steve Kerr. And cut the lead.
So I think if we stay healthy, we can do another run like that.
Now, Jimmy held informal camp, basically, down in San Diego. What was that like for the group?
It was good to get away from the Bay for a little bit, and, you know, to get the young fellas out there and get them acclimated and, you know, just have a little camaraderie with the team at Jimmy's house, which is beautiful, by the way. It was good, you know, just to get away, get outside, you know, and just have a little team bonding. It was great.
Now, I know Jimmy's a big dominoes guy. Who won the domino game?
That's between Jimmy and Dre. I think they was on teams that day, so I think you know who won that one.
All right, Gary, thank you for the time. Appreciate it. Good luck.
San Diego during the summer is a beautiful place.
It was a good plug for the crib, man. He really liked the crib, huh?
Yeah. Must be nice.
Yeah.
Sign those extensions. We missed those extensions of $30, $40 million extensions. You know,
Meanwhile, a guy like Gary Pink is Nick Smith's nice move, banks it home. Talk about the grind just to make it. You got 10-day contracts cut frequently. A lot of G League early on, and then became an integral part of an NBA champion. Jackson Rowe throws it in the backcourt. There'll be a backcourt violation.
And I liked what he was saying about the impact numbers, but you just can't mistake it. What they did defensively alone, become the #1 defensive rated team in the league after his acquisition. They were dead last in the league in free throw percentage. They were 3rd the rest of the way after he got there. Same with free throw attempts, basically 27th to 4th or something like that. The impact was incredible, even though there were nights where you're like, okay, he's not like filling up this stat sheet. And you asked Steve Kerr about it. He said, it's just the way the guy controls the game. And on both ends of the floor, that's what great players do. And man, did he have an impact for this team a year ago.
Provides stability night in and night out. Rowe hands off Spencer. Shot clock winding down. It's going to hoist it up. Just gets it off in time, but doesn't hit the rim. A little heave. Speaking of heaves, that's the other change. The end of quarter half-court heaves. Now, of course, players for years hesitating until after the buzzer to protect their shooting percentage. But now the field goal attempt will be considered a team field goal attempt on those heaves. They did a NBA has stats on everything. 500 times a season, guys would wait to the buzzer sound and then heave it up. It used to drive me crazy.
Us, Mike. It drives us crazy. And I think it's cowardly that people want the positive without any of the negative. And they're like, well, what about the players that might only get... Our job is to be a professional. And how many of those hundreds were players that are, oh, you got a 3-year contract. You're worried about your percentage going from 39 to 37. Go shoot that shot.
Right. I'm going to love the result because we'll see a lot more of those heaves take.
Team gets the point, you don't.
Right. It doesn't make sense that you take a shot and it doesn't. But I get it. It's an exciting play. It's a fun play. Last year, all right, so last season, of all the heaves that were taken, and it's considered in the final 3 seconds of a quarter, only 4% of the shots went in.
And also, what are the parameters around that as far as the distance of the shot? Is it like 40 feet or something and beyond, I believe?
36 feet. He's just an emotional man.
As a guy that got paid in large extent to like by percentage on 3-pointers, I'm kind of little part of me was like, okay, there you go for those type of guys. But to your point, the guys that are star players, to release it like that nanosecond after the horn goes off so you know you won't be penalized, I agree, man. You got that kind of job security, just let it fly. But I wasn't really affected one way or another when I heard it.
Well, J.R. Smith, Jamal Crawford, Peyton Pritchard, the impact he made making those type of shots. You got to give credit to some of those guys because they are willing to put on the line, and you take that credit away.
Pritchard loves to take those shots. By the way, who do you think led in most of those shots made? Quentin Post can't get it to go. Jokic was second with 3. Curry. Steph Curry with 4. Nate Williams misses. Koloko, good offensive rebound and fouled on the putback.
It felt like first maybe 10 years of Steph's career, didn't it feel like once a week he was hitting like a half-court shot or like a 60-footer? It was nonstop.
The funniest thing for me is I heard Bron say that. We were watching the games in like a steakhouse, and Steph hits another shot, and he was like, damn, Steph, how many you gonna hit? Like, he was just having a moment like, hey, I know I'm great, but the things that this dude is doing is different. So to hear Bron give him credit in the middle of the season for shooting and making half-court shots, even he was impressed.
Just relaxing now, not playing again. Tavion Kinsey is come in, the rookie from Marshall, is coming for the Warriors.
Yeah, one guy we haven't mentioned, I don't think, tonight enough maybe is another really like top-flight offensive player for the Lakers, and Austin Reeves. He's sitting over there because I looked over and I'm like, where's Austin Reeves? I'm like, oh, he's in the second row. He's sitting in the second row behind the bench. Luka LeBron not playing, of course, on the front row. You see Austin Reeves sitting back there. We're forgetting that this is a guy that averaged 20 points a game and almost 6 assists and was really allowed J.J. Redick to always have 2 elite playmakers on the floor at all times between Luka, LeBron, and Reeves. So he's an incredible offensive player, and we haven't really mentioned him tonight, but that's another weapon sitting over there for the Lakers.
He has turned himself into a borderline all-star.
Yeah, they got 70 points sitting over there on that bench waiting to be unleashed.
Quick post. Kinsey, LJ Cryer, that's him first couple of minutes. He launches up a three-pointer. That won't go. And that's run to the 5-minute mark. 7 to shoot. Post, height advantage against Nate Williams. Nate Williams now goes back at post the other end and draws a foul. It's on a pass.
We're complaining about it.
We played 7 or 8, and it was torture. What are you talking about, Mike? What
Back in
era?
the 60s? In the 60s?
Back in the 60s.
His first year
And he used to be a non.
We would do that. You still do that now. You do them in places to kind of give those crowds an opportunity, which I think is amazing by the league.
You two were so spoiled. You go to Vegas now.
Yeah.
Misses. Oh, Bronny James. Wow. That's a heck of an athletic play from Bronny James.
Okay.
I got to see that replay because did it not look like his forehead was on the rim, Rich?
Yeah, no, his bounce is
That was easy bounce, too.
Cryer up top. Meanwhile, the Lakers are fighting to get back into this game. Largest lead was 24. They can cut it to single digits here with still 3:40 remaining. Davis fouled on that. And now penalty. So free throws, and here's your play, Richard.
one or two things that he needs to continue to work on, whether that's in G League, whether that's in practice, whether that's in his early minutes in the league. It's the handling, it's the making sure he can handle pressure, and then the consistency of knocking down shots. But the athleticism, the defensive intensity, and really the passing, to me, are NBA level.
Well, the 24-point lead's been cut to 9. These bench players for the Lakers out there fighting and scrapping. J.J. Redick's got to love that, and they force a turnover. Nick Smith comes back in. Davis takes a seat. Connect comes in. Koloko out there. Nate Williams, Bronny James. Warriors have only scored 4 points here in this fourth quarter. Smith gets inside and draws a foul. He's got some real offensive ability.
He can flat out score, and he did what he did a year ago in Charlotte, 60-plus games, almost 10 for an entire month in an NBA season. That's a guy that just flat out knows how to put the ball in the basket, and you saw it right there. And that's who J.J. Redick wanted to have the ball in that possession.
Marquise Bolden comes in. Nick Smith was a great high school player, National High School Player of the Year. And again, just 1 year at Arkansas, but he hurt his knee and only played 17 games. So he's still growing as a player. Cryer gets inside. Well defended by Smith. Cryer gets it back. Santos down low. Bolden using his left hand. Nice floater just right off the bench. First time he touches it. Has some good touch. Smith misses that. Will Richard racing up the floor. Richard and Cryer faced off against each other last year. In college ball, as Bronny James misses that. Bolden. Richard to Bolden. Bolden spins. Another left hand. This one doesn't go. Smith spins up top. Koloko's going to try a three-pointer and banks it in. He's got that little hand signal as well.
It's mandatory now, Mike. It's mandatory.
8-point game. Koloko, just good to see him out there on the floor. Overcame missed the whole season with a blood clot. And he had to have a procedure to fix. And now back out playing. Showed some promise earlier in his career with Toronto. Take a final timeout with under 2 to play. it's just going to be fascinating to see both these teams with two of the most iconic players to ever play the game looking to add another championship. Cryer can't get that to go. Who's the top favorite to win in the West in what has been, as LeBron James says, it's a gauntlet, the Western
champions. And then the next team that I would go to would be the Denver Nuggets, who had them on the rope. Then the next team I would go to is Minnesota, who has been in the conference finals 2 years in a row. That's who you're starting with. Everybody else is looking to get in. Houston, Golden State, Lakers, everybody's looking to get into that conversation. I think a lot of them will be.
Yes, listen, what Oklahoma City did last year to the Western Conference was the equivalent of lapping the field, right, in a mile race. They won the conference by 16 games. So clearly they're the gold standard. They're just, you would assume them just to be better because they're more mature. They're champions now. They've got guys now that'll have an additional year in that system that they added a year ago. So clearly they're the top. Now the question is, who can be the last team standing against them? These two teams in front of us are on that short list. Clearly Houston and Denver have to be included in that. And then you've got a team like Minnesota that's been to the last two conference finals. You've got the Clippers, who a lot of people think may have gotten better with some of their acquisitions as well. So it's deep at the top of the West.
How about Kyrie Irving returns to Dallas, and Anthony Davis and Cooper Flag?
Yeah, so the teams we all mentioned there are the teams that I'm putting in that category. I think Dallas is a team that has talent but needs to prove it. That's where we'll put Dallas in that space.
All right, then.
Well, Kyrie Irving coming back is going to be huge, but there's still a good amount of distance before that time happens.
I think they'll surprise people. I think I saw somewhere like the over-under on win total was basically having them as a 500 team. I do think they'll be better than that.
By the way, nice block there from Bronny James. Cryer looking. Will Richard launches, knocks it down. They like this kid. The second-round pick. National champion last year with the Gators. Florida Gators, as we wind down here the preseason opener for Golden State. Lakers are going to fall to 0-2 on the preseason, and the meaningless stat of the night is Smith drills a three. J.J. Redick said he wanted to take a good look at Nick Smith tonight. He did. And now the Warriors will just dribble it out. The marathon underway. This long NBA season